Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. As most of you know, I recently posted a video about how Turkey has repatriated their gold from the Federal Reserve, and most of us know that Germany did so several years ago, and they have the gold to prove it. That's right. Stacking Nerd H sent me this article about how the Bundesbank's gold goes on show. So very interesting indeed. It's all that glitters is definitely gold in a new exhibition at Germany's central bank that lifts the veil on the nation's massive reserves of the precious metal, partly to reassure skeptics that the prized ingots are actually there. Europe's top economy and expert powerhouse has the world's second largest gold reserves after the United States. But for decades, almost none of the roughly 3,400 tons of yellow metal worth a staggering 117 billion euros, about $145 billion today, could be found on German soil. To keep the gold safe from a possible Soviet invasion during the Cold War, as well as for other historic reasons, the bars were instead stored in the treasures of the central banks in New York, London, and Paris. But growing public pressure spurred the Bundesbank to bring half of its reserves home, a feat it completed last year through a series of cloak and dagger shipments from the Federal Reserve, the Bank of England, and the Banque de France. The bullions are now kept under lock and key in a secret location in the bank's basement in Frankfurt, except for the 8 bars on display at its money museum as part of the exhibition Gold, the treasures from the Deutsche Bundesbank, which runs until September. We're doing this to show citizens that the gold bars are here and to show transparency. Bundesbank board member Karl Ludwig Thiel told reporters standing next to the gleaming 12-kilo, 26-pound bars in glass display cases. We want there to be trust in the Bundesbank central bank as an institution and in the reserves of the Bundesbank, and you can only win trust through transparency. Where's the gold, they ask. The bank has attributed its gold repatriation efforts largely to a changed geopolitical context. But some say the real impetus came from criticism from politicians and members of the public in recent years, who wondered aloud whether the Bundesbank was keeping close enough tabs on the nation's riches abroad. The grumbles mounted during the Eurozone debt crisis, which sent investors fleeing for safe havens like gold. Among the loudest critics were Eurosceptic Peter Ballringer, now a member of parliament for the far-right AfD party, who launched Bring Home Our Gold campaign that made national headlines. Especially during the years of financial and sovereign debt crisis, the Bundesbank was confronted with the desire for detailed information about the gold, said Thiel. It even went so far as some questioned whether gold holdings at home or abroad were real. In 2013, the Bundesbank unveiled a plan to bring home half of its 270,000 ingots. In the eyes of 63-year-old Bernard Lautersbusch, one of the investors of the museum, it was the right decision. If you own something, you should have it at home. All it takes is for a conflict to erupt abroad, and before you know it, the gold is gone, the former banker told AFP, after poring over the rare coins also on display. Money, power, and greed. Today, 1,710 tons of gold are kept in Frankfurt, with just over 1,200 tons remaining in New York and around 430 in London. The Bundesbank last year brought back the last of its stash stored in Paris, saying that since both countries share the euro currency, having gold in French vaults would be of little use to Germany in a crisis when the metal would need to be quickly converted into liquidity. But bank officials keep saying the rest of German treasures overseas makes sense, as the Fed is home to the #1 reserve currency, and London is the world's leading gold trading center. Germany, which had no gold at all after World War II, accumulated its riches in the post-war years known as the economic miracle, when its exporting prowess saw it run up large trade surpluses with other nations. under the Bretton Woods system, which allowed countries to convert surpluses into gold at a fixed rate of $35 per ounce. It built up huge stockpiles of gold. U.S. President Richard Nixon abandoned the system in 1971 as the dollar's value plummeted against the yellow metal. While gold today is no longer as vital to the financial system as it once was, it remains an anchor of stability, the ultimate safe harbor in uncertain time, the Bundesbank says. And I kind of disagree with this statement. We'll explore that in a moment. To Germans, whose national consciousness is still scarred by the hyperinflation of the Weimar Republic of the 1920s, the tangibleness of gold is a key to its enduring appeal. Lauterbach said that seeing the gold up close was impressive. It embodies everything: money, power, greed. This is what people were killed for, what wars were fought for. Gold is fascinating. When we look back up here, we can actually see a video here that kind of interviews one of the members of the Bundesbank here. Very interesting indeed, and we kind of see a little bit of what those bars look like in this video. There they are. Beautiful indeed to see them there. Repatriated gold from Germany. Fascinating indeed. There it is. And there's some rare coins too. Fascinating. Look at that. Beautiful. Gold. Definitely has an alluring quality to it. Fascinating. Some of the weights and measures to measure gold. And there are other parts of the museum there. Very fascinating indeed. And then here we see some pictures of gold. They're displayed there. There's a close-up look at a bar. Fascinating indeed. There's a rare coin and a selection of 4 bars there from the mint. Now, back to this statement about gold is seen less and less. It's not as critical in today's financial markets. Well, you know what? I tell you what, it may not be because sight unseen, out of sight, out of mind. But the thing is, sooner or later, the sight's going to come back, and you're going to have to reckon with it as the foundation. Central governments hold it. The fact that Germany repatriated shows its importance there. And here we see this bar is dated 2014. I think that might be Valcombe Swiss bar, according to that symbol there. Which alludes in 2013, dated on that, and that goes back to something that we referred to as a buzz term a couple of years ago, rehypothecation, and that it was formed from different bars. And so, to me, it just tells us that gold and silver are important, and just that it's not talked about as much, but they are foundational. These currencies, really, all the currencies around the world, basically are now essentially, the world reserve currencies are backed by oil, mainly the dollar and the like, hence the petrodollar, where Henry Kissinger essentially saved us by making this deal with Saudi Arabia, and they would trade oil for dollars, and hence we have this petrodollar system after the Bretton Woods system was abandoned and the gold standard completely by Richard Nixon in 1971. But nonetheless, gold remains valuable, even though it may be far removed from the debt instruments that we hold through today. I believe that it is still a vast importance to these central governments, or else they wouldn't hold gold. And then, so they put these bars on display, the Bundesbank did, and of course skeptics will always say, well, they are probably not real, or where's the rest of them, show it all, or what have you. But at least they're making an effort, and at least Russia made an effort to show their gold reserves. And so the question is at hand is for the United States. When are we going to be able to see our gold? We need another 1974 event when that vault was opened up to members of the media and Congress people to review the gold, not just hearsay, from Edmund Moy and Steve Mnuchin that went and saw the gold at Fort Knox. I believe it's there, but I do believe the public needs to be reassured of it here. Even though, really, in a sense, the public, meaning you and I, because generally the American public just doesn't care. But a media event surrounding gold, I believe, would bring a lot of attention to it, and more people would probably acquire it had they seen it. And maybe that's why they're not showing it. We'll see. Post your thoughts below. But fascinating story. Thank you again, the Stacking Nerd Age, for this. I'd like to extend the multitude of gratitude to you all for watching, and encourage you to please rate, comment, and subscribe.